Hello, gentes. Welcome to Karma on Deck. I'm Karma. This is your Aries reading for the week of February 5th. And I'm supposed to be tagging someone in this. Hold on. We're going to share this too. Cary Grant. Because he's been nagging me to tag him in the videos because he keeps missing them and says he can't find them. So hopefully he has what he needs at this point. Welcome to Dead Center Eye of the Storm, Mercury retrograde. We're deep in it. I know I've been getting phone calls, abundant phone calls, especially late at night when the dust has settled and people have finally a moment. Current energy today for February 5th is I am absolutely feeling exhausted. I was doing the nod and falling asleep while I was getting my nails done, and I just felt like I needed coffee, which I don't typically do. And so promptly after this is done, I will be going to take a nap. I don't care that it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. All right, Page of Swords. First thing that comes up for you, dear Aries, is short-tempered, okay? So the Page of Swords is that card that gives us that energy of like ready to snap, okay? Doesn't mean they're actually executing the snap. This is just that feeling of like PMS or grouchy or overtired, not really having a lot of reserves. I do see the Six of Swords for you, and that is things getting a little bit easier. So if you're feeling like this release of pressure, or if things are just had been feeling kind of junky or, pressure and heavy, that's going to break for you. I do see the King of Swords indicates victory. So that tells us the things that you have on deck right now, that whether you're wondering if they're going to come in your favor, they are, because this here is a contract. This looks like paperwork being signed or a contract coming your way. You do have the Wheel of Fortune, and that is fate and timing. Okay. So the Wheel of Fortune doesn't just always mean fate. It doesn't always mean like divine timing, but it also can mean timing as far as weight, or things are going to align for you just the way they are. And so not to push or mess with them, right? So we have the Eight of Coins, which is a little bit of busy. So I see you being busy this week, maybe having your plate full and a lot of physical labor. It feels like repetitive, redundant type of energy. Eight of Coins usually means repetition and redundancy, doing it over and over again until you get it right. But this can also mean that there's a little speed going on with some of your endeavors. So it feels like you've got a lot on your plate. I see Ace of Cups, a fullness and abundance of love. Five of Swords again, and then the Six of Coins. Okay, so how this looks in a sentence is we do have the Page of Swords, and the Page of Swords is our card for feeling short-tempered, but we also see this Five of Swords, which is the conflict. So for those of you that have things fester, let's say somebody talks to you some type of way, and the next thing you know, they keep talking to you some type of way, and you're like, I don't know if they really mean that. And the next thing you know, the 10th time they do it, you're like, what in the hell do you think you're doing? You probably should have said it the first time and maintained that boundary initially so they don't keep crossing it, and make sure those misunderstandings are cleared up. You also have the Eight of Wands, again, speed. For you, Aries, you also have a little bit of that energy that I was pulling yesterday with Aquarius, which is the hot seat, feeling a little bit of pressure and criticism, or somebody like examining what it is you're doing, and or being watched, or feeling as if you've got people that are just, watching for no good reason, but being out of their pocket and in your business. And I'm seeing the Two of Wands, which is indecision. You're kind of undecided on which direction you want to take certain things. I will say that there are some things coming up with your money, Aries, where you have these ideas. So if you notice on the bottom, there's these mushrooms, and he's floating a little bit above them. Don't we all float when mushrooms are involved? But you have this little floaty sensation, and he's got this scale, and it's money, and it's Six of Coins. He's got this money all around him, and he's not sure what he wants to do. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean you have money and you're trying to invest it. What it means is, how am I going to get this money, or do I use this money for this idea, right? And you're trying to bring them to ground and trying to figure out what it is that you want to do with these concepts and these ideas. I will say for you, King of Wands, King of Swords, that means a lot of decisions are being held on you right now. And so the King of Wands means victory in work, expertise, and mastery. We also have the King of Swords, which means decision making. So you have the Chariot card and the Nine of Wands. So the Chariot card means intensity. It also means travel. This card is one that indicates intensity for the sheer fact that these two horses seem to be going in different directions. And when they're like two couple 1,000-pound animals are facing different directions, and all you have is a little piece of leather yanking on them, trying to guide them one way or the other. It takes a lot of intensity, especially when you're going fast. But I will tell you, Aries, that right now you're doing a lot of foundation building, which means that, you're working on that structure that makes, what's next for you kind of thing. I will say that Aries might feel a little bit overwhelmed for a little bit. Based on this Seven of Wands, it just feels like the batting cage. So you might find yourself being a little busy. I will say that you're going to deal gently with this conflict that's coming. It's up. It's not one of those conflicts that's going to be life altering or changing or going to affect things in such a way where you have the Tower card coming down. It's just an uncomfortable thing for you to have to speak to. Nobody likes conflict. Honestly, we don't, but it's necessary, especially if another individual has like their head in the clouds and they aren't listening or paying attention or even looking. And I will say that the reason why this might be more difficult than usual is Mercury in play right now in Aquarius has had all of this beautiful energy of conflict. Everybody seems to have an opinion, a voice, they have something to say, and ultimately it's all just people talking and nobody listening. So it might be, if you have an opportunity to let something lie for a little while before you go speak to it, then I would encourage that, because this Mercury sure seems to be kicking everybody in the nuts. And it's not one thing, it's all the things. Let's move on to your Aries moon and take a look at what Aries has going on with their moon energy, how you're thinking and feeling. Book your one-on-one, karmaondeck.com. We do have the third class toward the Tarot 101 on Sunday. If you want to jump in on that, let me know. Three of Swords, miscommunication. So plan on miscommunication. You have the 10 of Swords, which is betrayal, the 7 of Swords, 5 of Wands, 8 of Pentacles. All right, so what this story is telling me, we have miscommunication, Mercury all around. We have the 10 of Swords, feeling betrayed. We also have the 7 of Swords, which is sneaky, going around the back door, trying to get things done in a way that isn't right up front. And I think that's something that you will speak to, right? We have the 5 of Wands, which is this conflict. And I'm going to tell you right now why this is going to be important for you, is because this is something, again, if you notice this 8 of Pentacles, which is the repetition and redundancy, doing the same thing over and over. And the problem with that is this conflict is coming because someone is not respecting those boundaries. And there's a reason I said it the way I did, I guess, in the general spread. And it's true. There's people that are continuing these habits and these patterns where you have to like stick a spoke in their wheel and make them stop. You're going to be that little rock on the skateboard. Stop. Cut it out. Right? And I'm seeing the Strength card. And the Strength card is that card that has to do with like pulling on your past experience and wisdom. For this, you don't want to repeat that. You've got a little bit of drama with the 7 of Cups, days of our lives. Look at her. Too many things to handle. And this is just one of those things that even though you don't make time for it because it's on the low end, you should probably make time for it in order to clear it. I'm also seeing insomnia, lack of sleep, or maybe some vivid dreams for you, and a little bit of fatigue, 9 of Wands. Okay. Now, the thing that's most important for you to acquire during this period is the Temperance card, which is balance. So we have the Balance card for you, which is can't serve from an empty cup, but you've got to empty it to fill it. So maybe things need to be more in motion for you. I do see Page of Cups and the King of Cups. So I'm picking up perhaps someone around you is behaving immaturely, but also the Page of Cups could mean a request for a new relationship. I'm seeing the King of Cups for you, which is EQ. I love this card because EQ is having the different. So EQ, I can describe it just simply like this. It's the ability and mastery with your emotions to respond rather than react. So it's coming from that whole person mentality where you are able to just speak from a non-reactive standpoint. Okay. And Page of Swords. Ultimately, nobody wants to start over, but there's a lot of things that are coming around for you where it's this, new beginnings, both in Page of Cups and Swords, which is decision making. But here's the thing, right now we're all feeling very raw. So allow that to be a feeling that passes through you like a screen door, because you have the Strength card, which tells us that you have this expertise, this wisdom about you. So I wouldn't worry too much about it and trust yourself above all. But I do want to say that there's one more card that popped up I was inspired to pull, and that's the Hangman. And that means delays. So during this Mercury retrograde, there isn't much we can do. Like my car, when I bought it, it's been in the shop more times than I've been able to use it. However, there's not much I can do about it. So getting upset is just damaging my own self by being upset for no reason, because I can't do anything about it. So you have the Hangman. So delays, expect them, plan for them, etc. Breathe through it all. Have some patience with one another. That's all I can say is, unless somebody's outright blatantly being an asshole, have a little grace as much as you can. We're all kind of in this together. Let's pull a card for you from Divination of the Ancients and see what your final message is for this week. And it's Fragmented, Shagai. So here's the thing. This is like rune stones and Shagai are the bones that were thrown in the deserts to take a look at what your future and your fortune look like. Well, here's what's true. It also talks about being fragmented. So even your computer does best when you unplug it once in a while. So when is the last time you've unplugged? So decision-making fatigue might be part of the game because you're being so fragmented, running after one thing after another. So the recommendation for being fragmented is to get centered. Center yourself. All right, I want to thank you for hanging out with me. I did Aries first, so we're going to go backward a little bit, and we're going to do Pisces after this. So I'll see you in 2,